Welcome back, everybody, to Wolves After Dark. We're so happy to be back. Even though the Timberwolves lost today, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like the video,
We back.
and let's get into it. Yes, we are Austin, and yes, we're still
Cameron,
live.
what a hell of an intro, man. That intro video, it's so good. And when the commentators speak up above the music.
I know. There may be some future versions that have some more talking, but for now, this is what we got, and I love it. So it's good to hear that music. It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been doing all our off-season content, so I mean, we've been seeing each other every day. But
but it is nonetheless great to see you again.
Yeah, it is good. We're live on Twitter right now. I think I don't even know. I haven't checked. But we'll see. Gerald's back. We're going to be doing a jersey giveaway during this if you're here early. So we're going to do that near, I don't know, probably the end, just to make sure that everybody gets in here. But we'll see. We're going to time it randomly so that people stay here. But I think you have to be in the YouTube chat in order to do the giveaway. So please come over to the YouTube. Wolves After Dark. It should be the only thing that shows up. But anyways, enough business and taking care of chores and all that kind of stuff. Timberwolves lose the first game of the season in Toronto. Still undefeated in America.
Yeah, undefeated in America. Dude, preseason champs, though. Got to give it up to the Timberwolves.
Preseason was wild. And we look good in the preseason, and almost none of that translated over. A rough game in a lot of different ways. I guess I'll start with my initial thoughts. I'm not going to overreact too much to the first game of the season. It's an away game. It's a home opener, so like there's a lot of emotions involved. The fans are really into it. The players are, getting used to. Both teams are getting used to it. So there's not really, there's a lot of emotion. There's just a lot of weird things that can happen in this kind of game. It's an 82 game season, or 80, depending on whatever the play-in situation is, or in-season tournament, whatever.
But Cameron, on paper, we were supposed to smash these fools.
Well, in Vegas, we were not supposed to smash these fools, as the spread was only 1 point. So they thought this was going to be a very, very close game, and it did end up being a very, very close game. Yeah. However, it didn't really feel like it. The Raptors were great in transition, second chance buckets, and really everybody outside of Anthony Edwards just wasn't there for us. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had a really bad game. Shake Milton looked pretty bad. Rudy looked pretty good, honestly. I liked, if I would have seen this Rudy in the first game of last season, I would have felt a lot better. Cat was questionable at times. I was pretty pumped in the beginning of the game about Cat. And even in like the third quarter, there were some moments where Cat was like, you could kind of tell he was like doing, yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. Yes, you're true. But the starters didn't play in that game. But Cat did have some moments where he was kind of showing a little bit maybe more mental toughness in like showing that it was, like there was a little less like jumping up and swatting down at times. Then we had the turnovers. We had behind the back passes come back. And we just had kind of all the regular stuff that happens.
The Jarrett Culver vibes where, oh my God, he's developed a handle. He can lay it up in the preseason. I've never seen him better. Boom.
Yeah. That was
over. Well, over Canada and over Canada for the entire season. That's okay. We'll get him next year. The 20th year anniversary of losing in Toronto. May it be our good wish, our good blessing. Yeah. Toronto. Faster, more athletic.
Yeah.
Have a lot more ball handlers, a lot more just length, not just like length in terms of height, but like arm wingspan.
Yeah. No,
there's a whole lot of Josh Okogis over there. And I think we dirtle especially without Jaden. and especially when they have Jalen, we dirtle. We dirtle a little bit. We're a little slow-footed. We have a lot of size 25 plus feet, and it was kind of an onboarding that I wasn't expecting. You think that the preseason would translate, and all the things that we were trying to work into our system, we got to see a little bit of a success story in the preseason. 5-0 in the preseason isn't anything to really be excited about, but nor should be anything that we should forget. Passing, where was that? Fast break defense, transition, where was that? Rebounding against smaller defenders, where were the trees? Minnesota full of 10,000 trees, right? 10,000 trees or 10,000 ponds?
Something like that.
Frozen pucks, something.
You're somewhere in that realm.
Somewhere in that realm. And weren't we supposed to have the best bench of all time? Where was that preseason prediction stuff when we were talking about that? Yeah, a lot of stuff that didn't show up. The threes didn't fall. The Cat best shooting big of all time wasn't making anything until the very end of the game. It was just a lot of things that didn't happen for us, yet we were still in it. So honestly, first game of the season, a lot of hiccups, a lot of things that we could, send to the film room, watch it together, and laugh at it, honestly, because there's so many things that are so fixable, and we can just make a couple more shots and we win this game, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, and honestly, one more thing before, Jaden McDaniels, in this game, we win.
Oh, yeah. Yep. 100%. And we just got a breaking alert from Ant. Post-game comments.
Ooh. I blame this all on Goofy Rudy Gobert.
We got a soundboard, ladies and gentlemen. Soundboard is here. It's gonna take some getting used to, but we got a lot in the soundboard. So, but you heard it here first. Rudy is the problem. So, it's one down, 81 to go. It's true. But you said it really well. I mean, this is real. The main takeaway here is we literally make 2 more buckets and we win this game. And there were so many stupid plays that we can look back at. And there was a point where I think Jim Pete was like, we're gonna look back at these things. We're gonna look back at some of these plays and be like, man, this was such a winnable game, and it really was. And yes, the big boy, it was 100% a Jaden needed game. My main takeaway, I guess, is Nah and Shake just didn't do enough for us. But.
Right. There were a couple of blips, but there was this weird part in the third quarter where we were down 10, and then we kind of rested with Gobert, and we brought Cat back in, and Cat had a nice little stint with even Shake there hitting a 3, and we got it back to a tie, if not taking the lead for a little bit there, 74-73. But Cat then transitioned from being kind of smart, sophisticated, defensive-oriented Cat to I now have the ball in my hands, Cat. And I think the playmaking version of Cat tends to be kind of Jekyll and Hyde, kind of we don't know what we're getting into. I start screaming very loudly when Cat has the ball in his hands. And we have to figure certain things out, and this is all those naysayers to the Timberwolves, going big. They get one tonight, but there's a lot of positives to take away. I feel like we were trying to get Gobert and Cat kind of situated early, and it wasn't falling. And then Cat started to hesitate a little bit, pump fake his own shots, and then Ant just took over 12 straight points. That was sweet, or 10 straight points or whatever. Nasri coming off the bench wasn't doing a whole lot, and then all of a sudden in the third quarter, boom, a little bit of a burst, a little bit of a let's actually show what we're worth.
Yeah,
I think there are some blips in the game that are very palatable to be hey, this is what we are, and we just have to kind of stitch them together for not just a quarter, not just a 10-minute, 5-minute stint, because we were down 11 at or 10 or 11 with 5 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah.
But like for a full game, like we could easily do this. It's so easy to see where we went wrong.
It is. And really, I think it really another thing that it kind of came down to was, we had that moment where it went down to like, or we were down by like 10, 12, whatever it was. And it was like, that was just a little bit too far to come back. Like, because there's just natural swings to a basketball game. And like, of course we did come back, but it was like, we only got back to like that 4-point margin. And then we never really surpassed it. Like, sure, there were points where we were closer than that, but like, it was like, that was like where they could kind of keep us off. And that was like good enough, basically. So if we don't let ourselves go down that much, on the flip side, one thing I will say that was a little bit positive from tonight is that mentally as a team, we might have been a little bit better than previously. I think, there were a lot of swings, a lot of momentum plays, and a lot of momentum, just like moments in the crowd that were happening. And we never let ourselves get down by 20. I mean, that's like such a terrible thing to say, but like, in the past, Timberwolves do let that happen where they go way down and we have to dig ourselves out of just like an enormous hole. And today it was only 10, 12, somewhere in that realm. So that's not like that crazy. But yes. And Slappy. Yes, we do have a Discord. It should be in the link in the bio. I believe I checked the link today. I think it still works. And also just a brief, obviously you see the thing in the bottom of the screen. Jersey giveaway is happening later this stream. So like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will be doing that a little bit later. But anyways,
fresh off the win in the Philippines, in Manila, in FIBA, Dennis Schroeder was the best guard on the floor tonight. Scotty Barnes kind of outclassed Cat, and it's not just one game, but like the small ball is gonna affect us, and the small ball against Cat, like he's gonna have to play a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker, a little bit more Cat-like on all pause. And I just have pause when he's guarding those players. He kind of like bends over with his like body. He doesn't like have a different.
Go ahead.
Soundboard. I was like, what was that? Honestly, please interrupt me with the soundboard, because I always go off on rants here, and I try not to. It's one game in.
Hours later.
Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. All right, but like he has this like stance where he like literally bends his like chest up down as opposed to like squat or get in a defensive stance with his arms out.
Yeah.
He like does this like weird thing, and his arms slat down as opposed to stay up, and it's tall, and we get into issues when he's like behind, or when he's trying to just man up against Scotty Barnes. A couple times he was trying to drive to the rim, and those easy layups weren't falling. Those easy 3-point shots, he was hesitating. And then we kind of talked about it a little bit, but the playmaking ability. There was a lack of consistency and desperation in terms of like trying to make the right play. He was trying to make a home run play. He was trying to do a lob to Gobert. He was trying to make random plays, especially in the end of the game. Well, I think the ball should not have been in his hands. And sometimes, we don't like the ISO. We don't like the one-on-one with Ant. But, like, man, we got to find a way. And we're going to be in this position again. We're going to be down 6. How do we respond? I think I want the ball in Ant's hands. I don't want Cat to pass the slow-mo for some sort of, like, hook shot.
Yeah. Or Cat to just force it into Rudy, like, at the end of the game. Or... there's just a lot of weird things. And like, I will say, I'm a big Ant homer, but there were moments tonight where Ant was just like, of course, he was incredible. I mean, his stats are wild. He was really the only player making anything happen for us tonight. So I'm not trying to like say that he was bad tonight. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, from a like bettering Ant standpoint, there were just a lot of things to improve upon. I mean, he's getting a little sticky with the ball sometimes. Like sometimes he's posting up and he has like Cat open for 3. He's like drawn the double team, but he keeps the double team with him for like an additional like 2, 3, 4 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, just get it back out. Just pass it back out to Cat, or whoever it may be. And it just, things like that kept happening. And at the same time, he kind of has to force it to happen. So it's just weird. But Ant was great tonight, but I think just being a little bit nitpicky, there were definitely things that he could improve upon. But I mean, the rebounds were like crazy. That's insane.
Well, let our team in scoring, which he will probably consistently do. Lead our team in rebounding is something that I would never expect when we have the fucking Twin Towers, right? So sorry for swearing all you Twitter bros, but it's kind of unnatural to see that, and it's remarkable when he is, because he's not a slouch on defense. He's not giving up anything on defense. I remember him getting posted up by Precious Achiuwa. Boom, that was like one of our best defensive possessions in the game. Like easy.
Yeah.
And with him and Gobert, I trust that side of the ball defensively. Gobert was doing really good things on both sides, but and I know that we'll talk about him posting up could get us into a bad rhythm, because we're all trying to find familiarity as well as stitching through all the things that we solved in the preseason and saw in the postseason of last year. Shake Milton trying to make a name for himself on our team is going to pass it to Gobert. Well, Gobert doesn't have a great post-up game, but is always trying to post up and always rim running, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
But that can get us into issues sometimes. Shake's trying to find his way, maybe put in a position where he had to do too much too early, And I think if it's we're fully healthy, we might see a little bit less Shake, you know what I mean? So
yeah. The Shake and Nah stuff tonight is the thing that bothered me probably the most tonight. It's just because it felt like in preseason, and again, I know it's preseason, we were playing Maccabi, whatever. But it's it's still, I just thought it would go a little bit better with them, and it just went so bad. Yeah, it's just.
I'm sorry, I'm getting to a couple of these comments. There was a pretty good comment by Slappy 2002 TV. Welcome to the show, by the way. Your name is new. I love your logo. I'm sure it's awesome. I'm sure there's a reason behind it all. It's awesome. See, let me see if I can pull it up. Well, we shot 25% from three. We shot 34% from the field.
Yeah.
And I think, in a lot of ways, we didn't chuck enough. We didn't jack up enough. We didn't pass towards the three. We had a lot of that going on early in the season last year, where we were shooting not lights out, but we were shooting 40 plus threes.
Yeah.
And you're going to see in NBA a trend. Look at Indiana today. They just wiped the floor by 143 plus points.
Really?
Versus their opposition.
Okay.
We need to stay on pace. We can't, because we're slow, because we're going to play a little bit more half court. We can't just say, we also can't shoot threes. We have to get the post play involved. No, we have to keep that barometer in check. And he said, we're not going to score. We're not going to get outscored this often, So we can't really be mad, and we lost by a couple buckets. So it's not a problem. And I just thought that was a good observation. There's going to be just small things that we're going to fix and kind of tweak with the roster, and coaching issues probably too with rotation. And it was very interesting to see, and it's going to be a narrative for the whole season. Is who's in and out of the rotation and who is in and out at one time during the game.
Yeah, that was another thing that was kind of interesting tonight, was paying attention to rotations. Of course, you can't base it off of one game, but it is a little telling. I mean, obviously, Ant's out there a ton. What did he end up with minutes-wise? Did he end up with 40-plus minutes or something like that?
Yeah, 38. He sat for a good amount of time in the fourth quarter, which is interesting.
That was weird. Yeah, but he played a lot in the first. Obviously, he was, I think, the last starter to leave. There's going to be interesting combos of players too. I mean, obviously, tonight was a weird night where we had three players have double doubles. Ant, Kat, and Rudy all had double doubles. And to your point that you were talking about, or Slappy's point, I guess, your team and how good you are at the end of the year is going to come down to how you respond to changes being needed. How do you respond to those changes? Do you respond to the changes needed? And that's what we're going to find out as the season goes on. So one game, not a great game. Unfortunately, it was not a fun game to watch, really, because there was just it was just sloppy and they had all the fast break points, which is fun, and like that's very painful to watch as like a fan of the other team. So like and then they're home. There's just a lot of elements where this wasn't fun, but yeah. If only we still had Vando. Sorry,
I expect a big response. I also expect the fact that home crowd's going to show out. It's going to be sellout, and we're going to be playing against the General Soreness Miami Heat, who don't have Damian Lillard.
Who don't have Dame. I heard rumors that Jimmy was already feeling a little sore.
Oh man,
and he's already questionable for the game.
So this will be our championship right here, game 2 at Target Center.
It'll be interesting. I will be curious to see. I know it's not a sellout. I saw that there were still tickets available, but that'll be an interesting game to see.
This is a very interesting comment by Solidus, who's been kind of on Finch for most of their commentary tonight, as well as just like shake over Baby Mac. I think there's going to be zero change in our roster and coaching staff until like the trade deadline at best. Nothing is going to change. We're going to have to work through this, and we're going to prove this works. And if it can't by then, that's when it'll change. I don't think December is going to. That's like a month and a half from now, so that's not happening.
I don't think so either. It would take quite unless we lose every single game. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be. We can kind of explore this maybe near like the end of the show or something like that. But like, if we really go off on like a bad loss streak to like start the season, then of course some conversations might start to happen. But I think before Finch, I think we'd be talking player movement. So I think they're pretty committed to Finch. I think if I had to look from like a national media perspective after this game, which no national media is going to be talking about this, but if they were, I think their first thing would probably be one of two things: either trade Cat or get Ant to like the big market where he can flourish, kind of a deal. But nobody's going to talk about this game. Nobody cares about Toronto. Nobody cares about Minnesota. So that's why we're here. But
right on.
Thank
Austin.
you. Austin.
Welcome.
Yes.
One other key stat as I'm looking through, fully paying attention to what you're saying and looking through box score stuff.
Of course.
The first half, man, it was a kind of a slow first half, but we were 16 for 20 from the free throw line. Guess what happened in the second half?
I don't know.
We went to the free throw line one time.
Oh my gosh, really?
There was a 2 for 2. That's it. And something changed. Maybe
I think we get scared.
Yeah.
We get scared.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we get scared to push. We get scared to get contact because we know that when we're down by 10 or 5 or whatever it is, if you get a charge, it's a huge momentum swing to the other team. I think, and then people just get scared to take the shots, especially when no shots have really been falling the entire game. It's all being scared. And that's why Ant was somewhat successful tonight, because he was the only one not scared at times. But like there were times where Carl was hesitating. Rudy, I guess, wasn't hesitating either. He was doing a lot. But yeah, it's just like we need to be aggressive. And then the players that started to were kind of more of our like emotional, spiritual leaders in like Kyle Anderson, who starts doing all these like push shots and things like that. And it's like, well, this isn't the player that we want to be being brave right now. We need Towns to be brave. We need, Conley started stepping up in the second half, but like the first half he was gone. So
that's right.
It's just there's a lot of different factors, but I do think that people just got scared near the end of the game, and then we kind of brought it back near the end, but it's too late. Then it's just that's what happens when you play scared. So I don't like it, but we're kind of talking about player specifics, which brings me to wonder. Would you like to do the first tier list of the season?
Let's go.
Tier list.
We should have a crazy soundboard transition.
I was just thinking that. All I have right now is.
Bro, this is a disgrace, bro. Like,
you should be like sensational or something.
Oh, sensational would be a good one. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Probably not. Here's a better one.
Brutal.
Or here's the one of the night.
Change your face. Yeah.
Change your face. Yeah. But anyways, sorry. Also, the tier list for anybody that's new here. A1 is obviously after Ant, but A1 is like unforgettable game. Not like they were the best that night, like unforgettable in the season wise. So like, thinking of like Carl's 60-point game, or like Ant's, like I think he had 49 sometime, or these huge games that people just go crazy, or like the play-in game, like Ant, all that kind of stuff is A1. And then at the very bottom is Glenn Taylor and Wancho. They're kind of intertwined. Wancho is like the worst you could possibly be, and then Glenn Taylor is like you've consistently been Wancho. And then C is what we expect. C, B, somewhere in that range is kind of what we expect from a player. Usually wins will break ties upwards and losses will break ties downwards. But me and Ashwin share our thoughts, and you guys can participate in the chat too. If you're watching the VOD after the live stream, you can also participate there by leaving comments. But anyways, also apologies, we did not update the tier list, so there's some familiar faces on there that may not have Wolves jerseys anymore.
Well, maybe Jalen Noel can be our Shake Milton for tonight. And apparently Matt Ryan's popping off in New Orleans.
Yes, exactly.
I cut off or something.
Yeah, my headphones started. They're being weird right now. So if I keep talking and you're talking, just wave at me. Okay, tier list. Who should we go with first? Do you have stats pulled up? Sorry, I'm so unprepared.
I do.
Amazing.
Let's go with our new boy, Troy Brown Jr., who will be for tonight. Let's make him Bryn Forbes, huh?
Troy Brown Bryn Jr. Forbes. I like that.
Troy Brown Jr.
He's up here.
5 minutes, absolutely nothing. But he kind of looks like Robert Covington. You know what? Give him a B.
He kind of looks like a Robert Covington. Give him a B. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he was a nothing. You said he had 5 points?
5 minutes.
I was like, I don't remember 5 minutes or 5 points. I feel like there's no way. I mean, I feel like this is what I expect out of him. I feel like it's a C.
Actually, before we do even more, this is a very interesting comment. Solidus T. I get a vibe all fellow Wolves are going to do is blame Kat and Rudy for when these L's happen. They are such a big part of our team, literally as well as just like it's going to happen. Like you can point fingers all you want. We're working through stuff, right? And I think the Kat Gobert dynamic is the most interesting part of our team that needs to be worked through. So I think it's an obvious thing to point at. But I don't think you should lump lots of Wolves fans, all Wolves fans. This is going to be games where it's going to be very evident and obvious. That's all I'm going to say.
And I think that'll be more of a national media narrative than it will be local. I mean, it will be local. There will be people. Obviously, Solidus from last year you watched. Like, we are pretty harsh on Kat, getting harsher on Rudy, and getting harsher on Ant, to be honest. I mean, that's just what happens, though. Over time, like, as you get tenure, as you get paid, as all these things happen, expectations go up, and then you kind of fall for the blame. It's kind of like, at work, like, a manager will get the blame instead of, that's what happens. But, but anyways, yes, I mean, that will happen. So,
sorry to break up the flow here. Shake Milton, wearing 18. I think Spagnolio wore 18. Rest in peace, man. He was a great Matteo.
Is he gone?
I don't know. I don't know. I actually have no idea. He's no longer can wear 18. 21 minutes, 1 for 5 from the floor. Whoa, was I expecting more than something I saw here. 1 for 4 from 3. A couple of rebounds, a couple assists. He got into foul trouble early, but he also had 3 steals and I'm just straight up reading box scores. I'm not used to this. I'll get better as the season progresses. 4 points though. I think, as I'm reading the stat line, and we're going to do kind of a 3-2-1 here for our starters here. I think Shake Milton, Timberwolves debut. This is a D. This is a D or Wancho.
I'm kind of leaning Wancho. it was just like we've been saying, Solidus. It was a really bad game for Shake and Nah. Like this was not a good game for them, and they were the ones that were very clearly like the ones to be blamed. We just got nothing out of them, and I think it hurts. We don't have a person for Shake. So maybe
Austin Rivers. Yeah, I was gonna say if we can get Jamal Crawford back from a few years ago, he's gonna be our spark plug off the bench. He's actually Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel is like Shake Milton is like replacing that.
That's true.
And I think if you were to take last year's team and just add Shake Milton, we add a couple wins. We don't play Jalen, we add Shake Milton, but. First stint didn't look so great, my friend.
No, it didn't.
Moving on, Naz Reid, fresh dreads, and threads, and wallet. I don't know, man. He's looking good. He's looking the part. However, 23 minutes, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Is that enough for our boy Naz Reid? We put a banner up for you, my friend. I think this was maybe a D, maybe a C. I could be convinced a C.
I am kind of more in the D tier kind of realm right now. I said this in the Discord earlier. I think it was Big Boy that pointed out in the Discord that there was like a point where in early he wasn't scoring, but he had a lot of energy. And I guess I do believe I do get that, but we rely on Naz for scoring, and he just wasn't there for us to score until later. And I don't know. I think we needed more, same thing. This is what we expect out of a player. This was slightly less than I would expect out of Naz. I would expect a little bit more. So he just falls slightly below C. But that doesn't mean
Gerald's comment here.
Yeah. Nasdi, he has a new, exactly. And that's part of it too, is that players' expectations will change year to year, game to game. Because as like Naz got better last season, it wasn't like every single game he had was like an A1. It was like it started to be like, wow, Naz had like a solid 15.8 rebound game, and it was like a C, because that just happens. But yeah, he has new expectations.
The impact Brandon Clark has on Memphis.
Yeah,
we need an offensive output from Naz Reid. He got called for traveling. I don't know if he had an offensive foul, but he had a couple mishandles as well. And that's going to all work out over the course of the season. But it's definitely just like, when Cat and Gobert are not working, boy, do we need someone else to step in. And it's got to be Naz. So at all times, like, if one's not working, you got to have the other one ready, to bat. So, last, but not least, we're going to talk about Slow-Mo. I'm very happy we have him. I'm so happy we have him. 7 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, jack of all trades, but master of none. Tonight, I don't know what he did tonight.
Yeah.
It seemed good, like on paper, to have him here. He was our team plus-minus leader. Ooh.
He had a couple pokeaways. He has these sneaky, we were talking about Toronto having long arms. He's got these sneaky long arms that people just don't expect. Like very specifically last season, the game where he stole it from, I think, Draymond in Golden State and then passed the Cat for the 3 to win the game. That was like a play where Draymond thought he had an open passing lane, and Kyle just basically just sticks his arm out barely, and it's like he gets the steal. So it's like, I don't know. He had a sneaky night. It definitely wasn't a good night, but I think, spoiling my grade for him, I think this is what I expect out of him for the most part, probably going forward this season. Sneaky thing on Prize Picks. I don't know if we're going to put this video out. We made a video about bets and stuff like that, but on Prize Picks, there was an over/under triple doubles for Kyle Anderson, and I believe it was over or under 0.5. And last season, I think he had 3 triple doubles, but that's because he had a bigger role last time when Cat was out. It could be, Vegas. True.
Welcome to the show, Vegas.
Yes, welcome. It was not a good looking game, but I think this is probably the kind of game that we can expect from Kyle. I really hated some of the shots that he was forcing at times, but at the same time, it was somewhat necessary because nobody else was. So
Cat was coughing it up to him. Cat was like not assertive enough. Cat was passing it back to him. Slow-Mo was wide open for 3. You're going to have him take that 3. And he was 40% from 3 last year, so you might as well let him like live with that kind of shot.
I'm 100% in line with what Solidus just said. Yeah, it was good. Just some bad shots.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that was really funny when he tripped. Also, that was like a really weird time because that was a potential fast break opportunity for us. And yeah, man, like it showed. Nah passing to Ant with his back to him. Like Cat throwing, Shake throwing a lob to Gobert. Gobert, you can't run that fast. Like things are just like 5% askew. Easy film, easy mistakes to fix. They're gonna laugh it up when we get back to the plane. So. But I agree with Gerald. C+, C-ish. I hope we have him on the tier list here. There he is, little guy.
We do.
The first one.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yep. See, you're going above Bryn Forbes, whoever that was. I can't remember.
I don't.
We got to update the tier list. This is going to confuse me.
Troy Brown Jr. I'll do it tonight. Right. I'll do it tonight.
All right, sounds good. All right, are we on to the starters?
Content. Yeah. And before the starters, I just want to say, 17, 20 plus of you here. Hey, we have been doing this for a few years now, and we started on Twitch, our humble beginnings, and we even had a different show name. It is very fun. It is very fun to be doing this, and we got to keep the good vibes going because, man, like just a few weeks ago, we had FIBA basketball, Ant popping off, Cat popping off, and Dominican, Dawn apparel, doing well for Canada. Like it was great to see. And then there was like this pause where it's like, man, what's happening? There's no activity with the Timberwolves. It's just like we're just signing our dudes. Jaden got signed and everything. Nas got signed. It was good vibes coming into the season. But I was just like, man, up until today, or like even yesterday, like I was just like, man, I wasn't really as pumped as I was when we traded for Gobert. That volatility of like those big moves really drives a lot of fuel. What's really crazy is that we have stayed consistent. We didn't do a whole lot of trades here at all. And our team looks a little bit more formidable than it was last year with gaps in our team and years prior with like Vando at the 4. Even though Vando was amazing, he's kind of a liability in a lot of ways. I'm pumped for this season. I am so unbelievably pumped for the season. It started with the opening tip, and I just want to say like top of my heart, I don't know what people say. It's awesome to have you guys around for the ride, for the journey. And we're going to be doing this after most games, if not all games, even 50-point losses. I'll say that much. They don't really happen as much anymore, but they did happen when we did start this show.
Oh, yes, frequently. It was unfortunately quite frequent. But yeah, well said. And subscribe. All right, starters.
Yeah.
Who are the starters? Oh,
Who were the starters?
Nah, we don't have Nah on here. That's crazy.
Dang. Well, that'll be
Josh Minot.
That'll be Austin Rivers. How about that? Oh, D'Lo. Oh,
sure.
D'Lo.
It could be D'Lo.
Yeah, and you know what? Comment below, like in our YouTube comment section. It helps us a little bit. But just like, what do you expect our records to be? What do you expect? If there's going to be any big moves, like I guess Solidus T is all about having Finch canned already. So, any big moves, go ahead and send them out in the comment section. All right, cool. To the starters, we do a tier list. This is a expectations a C, above expectations B and A. I know you already mentioned this, but just in case you're tuning in now, we'll start with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, aka D'Lo, for tonight. 22 minutes, 2 points, no threes, 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, a couple ancillary stats. Are you ready for a grade?
I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1. D.
Wancho.
Ooh, I'll go with Wancho.
I think it's Wancho because, I guess the only little asterisk I'll put on this is that we should be having Jaden out there a lot more. Oh man, Godfrey.
I'm in.
That might just have to happen.
D'Lo or D tier is D'Lo tier.
Maybe, but yeah, I don't know. But there were moments tonight where we needed those. I know it was the preseason. I know we were playing nobodies, but in the preseason, we had these moments of kicking it out to Nah for 3. And 1, that didn't really happen. There wasn't as much opportunity for that tonight. But 2, he just never converted. It never looked comfortable out there. It had the offense acting real funky. So I just think that this, I guess my main reasoning between Juancho and D and putting it as a Juancho is that I really feel like he is like kind of the reason we lost the game. Like, I don't think it was just a bad performance. I think it actively took away from the team. So,
in a lot of ways, I was noticing that first, few minutes where we were kind of chunky. We weren't doing a whole lot out there. Nah took 3 threes in that stint. So,
yeah.
And 0 for 3 tonight. And he's got to make them. But I appreciate and applaud the fact that he was taking them. But we weren't getting any points on the board if it wasn't for Cat, if it wasn't for Gobert, if it wasn't for Ant. So, we need something from him.
Yep.
The crowd has spoken. He's a Juancho tonight.
Juancho. And we are definitely going to be taking into consideration that D-Lo tier. I like that. Okay. Who's up next?
Mike Conley, 30 minutes and 30 seconds. 4 for 9 from the floor, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for the 36-year-old. And he got a 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little torn on this grade because I think he shot well because everyone else did not. But he didn't. I think, you got a grade?
I got a grade.
In 3, 2, 1, C minus.
I say D.
We're close.
We're pretty close.
68 to 71%. I don't know.
We're pretty calibrated. The reason I say D, it looks like everybody's giving him a C, or even a low B. But it's, for me, he was just nowhere to be found in the beginning of the game.
I'll be back.
And you'll be back. But he was nowhere to be found in the beginning of the game. And then he did hit a 3 and started making some shots late. But by then, it was too late. We needed more of him in the first and second quarters to really kind of drive us and get us in a better place. And Ashwin, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree.
But no, it was he just needed, what I was saying is, like, he needed to be there. He needed to take more shots for us because he was starting to hit some shots, and he needs to be able to pull that defense a little bit away because the defense was at times pretty decent on Ant and Cat and even Rudy at times. So we needed somebody to pull defenders away, and he had some opportunities where he was, again, kind of indecisive. That's kind of like the theme of the night, is people were indecisive other than Ant. But yeah, Conley is too short. The thing also tonight is that
a bit too old.
He is too old.
Some funny things that he can't fix tonight. But
biggest, I love you. But like, I don't know. The other thing is, like, his contract right now, he makes a decent amount of money, and it's like, looking forward, it's like, we're not going to pay you the amount that we're paying you right now after the season. And this is a contract year for him. But
yeah.
And I think that we plan on retaining him, but like the amount, because I think he's making over 20 mil. I could be wrong.
24. Yeah.
So and I don't think it's guaranteed, but still, it's like, this is just, we need more production. We need more everything from him. It wasn't so far off from like what we expect out of him game, because I'm not saying that I'm expecting him to go out there and drop 20 a night or something like that, but we just need, like, I think I said this last season, if he can just give us like 2 or 3 threes a game, that's enough. And then like 2 or 3 threes a game, and then 1 or 2 floaters / lobs, boom, that's the Conley that we need, because then that makes Rudy, that it just opens up the offense for all these things to happen. Cat can hit threes, Ant can drive, Ant can hit threes. It just, there's a lot more ability when he is when he's doing those things, and we just didn't get that enough tonight. So that's, I guess, my speech.
Every half should start with some steady dose of Conley. Get the Gobert lob going. Get 1 lob in 1 half, Get something going where we don't have to like force feed Gobert. It's Conley easily doing it, with ease. Ant's not like struggling to try to feed it to anyone else. He's trying to get himself going. Cat's not worried about getting anyone else going but himself. That's Conley's job, is to make sure that everyone's eaten and just get the gas pedal like started, like the ignition started. Like, yeah, I think he was a little slow, and he saw maybe in a window in the second quarter to like to get going, but he wasn't there at all in the first half. And anyways, I think a low C, if not a D, is warranted. Moving on Rudy Gobert, 32 minutes flat, 6 for 12, but boy, did I feel like he was taking a lot more shots than that. You know what? I'm really glad he didn't take a 3 tonight. He went to the free throw line a few times, made half of them, and he got 13 rebounds, which is awesome. 2 block shots, especially one that was, or 3 block shots, especially one that was pretty fucking awesome to see. 15 points, but a plus or minus a negative 11. You know, I am going to have the hardest time grading Gobert this season, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready for a grade, but it may not be what everyone else is expecting.
I think I'm ready to.
All right. I have a grade for Gobert with his Butterfinger hands and all. In 3, 2, 1. B.
C?
Ooh.
Yeah, I could be convinced up to a B. I like this game from Gobert. I thought and it's kind of hard to judge because I'm kind of just judging how he looked, like not even so much game wise, more just like body and like, like how he just looked energetic out there. So like that to me was like exciting to see. Like we had some nice dunks in the beginning. He was bullying people at some times, like early especially. But like I don't know, there was a lot of things that I did like from him, but then he relies so much on the Conley things that we're talking about and all the other players doing things because he's not creating offense. He needs to be the one catching lobs, all that stuff. It looks like everybody agrees, though.
Everybody agrees. You know, it's really funny. What's up? I feel like that's Annie-oop or something.
That is Annie-oop.
I feel strongly that his best asset is his height and just to be able to tower over people and dunk.
Mm-hmm.
But when he doesn't dunk, boy, is it a wild card out there. He'll do a floater. He'll do some sort of shot put shot like Kyle Anderson. He'll do a layup that is just like blockable because it's underhanded or something.
Yeah,
And the random like mid range shot, like none of that should happen. It should just be yams and jams and slams like DeAndre Jordan. Like it shouldn't be anything other than that. And the preseason hype was like the fact that we weren't really relying on Gobert. We weren't pushing it with Gobert in mind. It was just like Gobert happened at times, and that was nice. And I want him to be a fifth option. I don't want him to be the first point of offense. I really don't want it to be that way. But that's on the coaching staff and the players' acuity to know that Gobert is there to get rebounds and set great screens. And the occasional dunk is great to catch the defenses when they're off guard.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add? Otherwise, we can move on.
No, I think it's, I agree with, no, I don't have anything else.
It's going to be very polarizing to grade him from game to game, as well as just like he's going to be a victim of like media. He's going to be a victim of like what our Mackeys and Dane Moores and even like what the Athletic, Johnny Athletic writes about. Like he came to play tonight. He doesn't have a knee brace on. He looks so nimble out there for someone who's not nimble.
Yep.
But he's always going to be like slightly exposed when people are pulling out to the perimeter. Like there was one play where I think like Pirtle like got the best of him on this layup early in the game. And I was like, come on, man, this is not where this happens. This should be an auto block.
The only thing I have to say is Pirtle always just ruins us. He is one of these Timberwolves killers, as is Dennis Schroeder. But Rudy's facial expressions when he kept getting beat by Bird earlier, he just kept like shaking his head. Like, what is happening? He's kind of like, how am I being beat by this guy? But he was being beat by this guy. So, anyways, that's Gobert. He's a B. He was okay.
Christian Laettner, jersey wearer, Karl Anthony Towns. Welcome to year 8 or year 9?
Year 9, I think.
Year 8, because then Wiggins would have been year 10 this year. I think Wiggins was 14-15. I think Towns was 15-16. So year 8, I believe. 8 for 25 from the floor. He is a very efficient shooter. Not tonight. 19 points, 2 of 10 from 3. 10 rebounds. He got his double-double. He told right before halftime with 3 minutes to go, watch out. I'm going to get all this. I'm going to be on the glass, he said to Grady and Jim P.
Yeah, God.
3 assists, a couple of turnovers, a lot of turnovers, and a healthy dose of turnovers in the third quarter. But 4 block shots, that is something to brag about and boast about and be excited about. A grade for Anthony Towns in 3, 2, 1.
D.
C.
I say D because this is less than I expect. I mean, the shooting, he needs to be better.
Oh, shooting was god awful.
Yeah. Other than the shooting, I actually didn't hate this game from Towns. Like I normally
beginning of the game, I was kind of like prying hair out. This is where I have hair. I was prying hair out, and I was just like, he doesn't look the part. He's not a match player. He's not efficient on D, and he's in the way. He doesn't know where he's supposed to be on both sides of the ball. And then he was tentative to shoot. So I was like kind of frustrated. But then he like picked it up in the second half, where I think it's like third stint out there. He like got up to like 12, 15 points. And then I think early in the third, like late in the third, he got his rhythm going with Nas out there. So like it's cool to see, bursts. Come on, I don't know, Mike. He's our max player. He's making $40 million. We can't be like, I can't wait for 2 years from now. That's Bruno Caboclo, and he's like somewhere else, right?
Yeah. He just popped up recently. Yeah, no, I think there was a point. I think at the half he had shot like 17 times already, and I had not felt that. But
I didn't feel that.
Like you said though, at the beginning of the game, he just felt lost out there. He was kind of wandering, roaming around the court, like with no purpose. And that hurt. I do think, the things that I was saying that were positive about Towns tonight, I do think there was, it's hard to say this because we still saw such egregious errors, but I do think there actually was a little bit of improvement in both fouling and less hacking, less of the weirdness. It still happened, It's going to happen. This is not something he can fix overnight. But there was a lot of just like, standing straight up and not jumping at shots. And, there was a lot more of that, a little bit more mental toughness at times. But then there was this moment in I think late third or early fourth where it was him and Nas out there. And he did this weird floater and then he yelled at Nas. And then immediately after this, he does like the stupid foul where he said he's talking to the ref about like how he thinks it's a block, but it's not that he hit his hand, it's that he landed on the player. So like there's still just these errors with Towns, and we've talked about these for years, but by no means was this the loss on Towns, which is why we're not giving him like a bad grade. But obviously when you're the best shooting big of all time, self-proclaimed, shoots 8 for 25 or whatever it is, that hurts. But you're a friendly bull in a china shop.
It's pretty good. That's a pretty good apt description of what he is, because he can just completely pop off in a game and take over and go for 60 versus San Antonio. Maybe not this version of San Antonio, but I want my all-star, my big, who we are building a team around, honestly, to be as consistent as can be, man. When I go to the grocery store and I order bread, I know what bread's gonna freaking taste like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like soggy bread. I don't want it to be stale bread. I want it to just be bread. I don't think Cat needs to do anything outside of his like simple execution. And I feel like I've been saying this for about 8-9 years now. Like, just do the simple action. Don't do a pump fake. You're not getting anywhere with the pump fake. Yeah. You're just getting yourself out of rhythm, and then you might even offensive foul with your little kick flip. And the ball passing, while some of it's amazing, don't do the behind the back passes. There was a couple like transition passes where you threw it over his head. You don't need to do that. There's all the simple stuff that he needs to do. And I think he just wants to do something a little bit more than expected. I think he's also trying to earn his keep. It's so funny. This is not his team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to make us roar about him. Us like completely just earth-shatteringly applaud him. I can't do that. I don't think Wolves After Dark is someone who's going to do that after one game. No. I need to see a body of work. And boy, I haven't seen it yet, honestly.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of potential, but
for sure.
Oh, that's Cat, isn't it?
That is Cat.
I forgot what we said. I think we said BC.
Yeah, no, I said D, but it seems like everybody's all over the place in the chat. I think I'm just gonna even it out to a C. I guess we're gonna have to find out what we expect from him this season.
Remember Gerald? Okay, Gerald. Dominican Republic, where was that Cat? Cat, like this Cat tonight was nowhere to be found. It was a super high aggressive, high intensity, like maybe he was super pumping his fucking chest out, like, you know, like he was some sort of like Blue Jay or something. But like, man, he was taking 30-foot shots. He was taking threes on a dime. Like he would run a little bit late in transition and then shoot that half-court shot. And not that we want half-court shots, but he was just so confident. The fact that he was pump faking, the fact that he was hesitant, he saw a couple shots go out so that he wasn't wanting to shoot again. I'm sorry, but we're paying you money to shoot and not do anything else, honestly, because Porzingis popped off for 30, and we want you to be better than Porzingis.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. That's another thing. Seeing Porzingis with Boston, they'll see how he kind of fits in, and that'll be frustrating because he's gonna fit in. Yeah, exactly. Like it's gonna be annoying, and we're gonna have to be like, this is what it should look like. And we're going to get, to your point earlier, and I don't want to talk about Cat forever because we got a whole season to talk about Cat, but I can't wait. But he does have these, like, it's either in his mind, and maybe this is the player he's kind of maybe always been, is like, it's either he's the guy or he's not a part of the team. It's like he can't be somewhere in the middle, even if that is just like a peg or two down from the guy. Like he is probably the second player on the team besides Ant. And it's like, why does it have to be so difficult? Why can't he play with one other person? Because I do think if he was just playing by himself, if he was the only star on the team, we'd be seeing fine things from Cat. We'd still see some of the, like, what is it called? Like the extra voltage, which by the way, that needs to go. I don't know how I didn't think about that on the soundboard. But we got to have extra voltage on the soundboard. But extra voltage, there would be some of that, but he'd be having amazing games. He'd be getting a lot more shots up, just like he did with the Dominican. So, yeah.
Gerald has said this point a couple times now, and it's like worth repeating. Like on the broadcast here, it's like it wasn't going. No one was popping off. No one was taking the game over. So everyone was trying to take the game over. Gobert was like trying to be the enforcer on both ends. Like it was crazy. And like Ant was trying to take over the game without passing the ball at all. And we're going to get Ant in a second, but like, the Cat wanted to, take over the game in a lot of ways. And like he had that moment opportunity where the ball was in his hands. And we got to see something stable forming and fast, because I don't think we can take a single break in the NBA this year. I think 5-game like losing streak, we're going to be looking up the standings, We can't afford anything like that.
Yeah. Think of the parity last year. The parity last year, I mean, we talked about it in our preseason like predictions YouTube video, which you can watch, obviously. But the difference between us and the 4th seed last year was 3 games. So like this is a game that we may look back at the end of the season if we don't have an amazing season. And end up in the play-in or late. Like, I'm not saying we're doing that. I'm not at the point where I'm saying we're a play-in team again and we're not going to be better than that. But, like, this is why you can't lose games like this, because, this is a winnable game, and this wasn't one where they just couldn't stop hitting shots. Like, they by no means were amazing tonight, Toronto. So this is a winnable game, and this is the one that's going to be disappointing. But
yeah.
And yes, the West is way too stacked. Literally 1 through 12, 1 through 13. I do think, again, something we talked about in our preseason kind of predictions, whatever I'm trying to say. I do think that this year won't be the same in which we have like parity from like 3 to 10. I think it's going to be more of like parity between like 1 and 4 and then like 5 and 10 or something, or some weird, like, there's going to be some segmented kind of thing. It's not going to be one huge swath of like 10, 12 teams that are all like within a 2-game thing. I think it's going to be like, there's going to be an upper tier teams that are really close, and then kind of like a mid tier teams that are close. So we'll see. But
yeah, a lot of wild cards in the West. I think the Rockets in San Antonio and Dallas are big wild cards for me in terms of what they might become. And Memphis, like, I don't know, they're not. They could be top 4. They could be bottom of the standings. We have breached an hour, and we have not talked about the man of the hour, who just got his peach tree shoes, the mural on the wall, the max contract, all that glitters is gold. Anthony Edwards in with his new jersey number 5. He's our Mamba. 8 for 27 from the floor. I felt that for sure. 39 minutes. He barely left the court. 4 for 7 from 3. He got all his free throws in the first quarter, it felt like. But a team high 26 points, team high 14 rebounds.
Yeah.
1 assist, 1 steal, a couple turnovers. Anthony Edwards, jersey number 5. Couldn't wear it when he was drafted because of Malik Beasley. Our grade. If you're ready, in 3, 2, 1.
B.
I'm an A.
I say B. This is somewhat of what we talked about earlier in expectations going up. And again, he had a good game. I get it. His stats were amazing. And honestly, listening back to them, I'm like, man, maybe I'm being too harsh. But like, of course, 14 rebounds from your guard is like otherworldly. And that, it starts to make me believe that maybe they're trying to get him into more of this like kind of typical role that you see a lot of MVP caliber players in, where they're kind of getting close to getting triple doubles every night. Now, what did you say? His assists were nowhere near, right? What were they tonight?
At the bottom. It was 1.
Yeah. So but still getting him in more positions for rebounding and things like that. I mean, I think this was a game that Ant probably could have taken over a little bit more. I think there were moments where even though he was the only one being any amount of decisiveness during this game, I think there was more decisiveness that he could have played with. There's a lot of times, like I mentioned earlier, where he's like posting up, drawing 2 defenders, and he's just taking forever to get that ball out. And then when he does, it's too slow or too late, or things like that are just like a little nitpicky. I get it. He was the best player tonight, and it's going to feel weird for me to say he should be in the same tier as Rudy Gobert tonight. But but I just think that there were improvements that could have been made. Some awkward shots too, where he's just kind of forcing things.
Agreed.
Overall, a great game, but I do think there's just some things to kind of nitpick at.
Yeah, 8 for 27 kind of screams Wiggins, kind of screams inefficiency galore.
Yeah.
I feel like, man, there was no one getting going, no one pushing pace, no one pushing an offensive flow. So, like, yeah, of course, Ant is going to try to take over. I have one comment about like his rebounds, and what's going to be amazing is that Jaden's going to get some boards, Ant's going to get some boards, Nas is going to get the boards, and they're going to push pace. Slow-Mo's going to get some boards, and they're going to push pace. It's kind of a weird thing to talk about, but when your bigs are getting boards, the transition defense is getting back. So we can't run when the big gets the board, typically. Maybe there's some leak outs, maybe there's some other like mid transition, but like I'm going to say as like a general thing. And then when you have Cat and Gobert kind of fighting for boards, this has nothing to do with Ant. When you have Cat and Gobert fighting for boards, we slow down a little bit more. Now we get into the half court with like exactly 16 seconds left. And then we have to wait for them. So like now we're getting into our offense with like 10 seconds left. When Ant gets the board, he's pushing pace. When Ant gets 14 freaking rebounds, that's amazing. Yeah, a couple of them are just off the free throws. A couple of them are off of like big, clunking threes. But man, I love the ball in Ant's hands over anyone else right now on our team, bar like Naz Reid, honestly, because I love when Naz Reid drives. But like, it's amazing to see, and it's A tier worthy. It's like A1 tier worthy, honestly.
Yeah.
But 8 for 27 is unacceptable. First game of the year. You got all that. You got the Adidas commercial that just popped off tonight.
Yeah.
You got to show out for Adidas, let alone the Timberwolves family, let alone Atlanta. You got to show out for that. And well, you did get your score sheet stat stuffed, but and then also towards the end of the game, like he was nowhere to be found. So I will change my grade to a B+ and be the player of our night. However, that's going to be a new tier list, new fresh-looking tier list tomorrow. I also hope that a new team emerges from this tomorrow or Saturday when we face against Miami Heat. I think we have a lot to prove. Last year was a fluke. Let's make sure that that's a fluke, and let's not be repeating ourselves with a slow start to the season.
Yes. Sorry, I'm posting a tweet because tier list is done. We've recapped the game. We'll still do a little bit of recapping, but I think it might be time to attempt a giveaway for a jersey. So
sensational.
We're gonna try. Yeah, I gotta get better at finding these. I've got the howl. Very good. Also, I mean, I could just play every single thing we have here because they're all amazing. But I found some like gems, like Kat talking to Kevin Hart.
Shout out to somebody that gave me the little G Unit zip up hoodie. Boo-boo.
I had never ever heard that.
I've never heard that.
So that was crazy.
That's amazing. That sounds so good, though.
But yeah, and then we've got Michael Grady. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. Jersey giveaway time. I'm going to let a little bit of time for people to come in here because all you have to do for the giveaway is literally just type something into the chat, and it's going to be a keyword, and then I'm going to random generate it. I may have to do a couple different rolls to make sure, but make sure we get everybody in here. And then we'll do a little jersey giveaway. Also, you know, I hope to do some more giveaways earlier. I actually was talking to Jake's Graph today. And, you know, I wanted to make sure we could maybe do some giveaways for that kind of merch too. Do some maybe tickets later on in the season, do some stuff like that. We'll see. I mean, this is not going to be an every stream kind of a thing. But, you know, occasionally, maybe some kind of weird incentive, you know, especially if we get to 500 subscribers, that'll be a big moment. We definitely, whenever we get to 500 subscribers, we'll be doing some sort of giveaway. But, you know, everybody that tunes in and watches, if you are watching, you do have to be on YouTube, I think, to be a part of this. So we will get started here, and we're going to try this. All you have to do is one word. Oh, whoops, I thought this was going to be a banner. Type Wolves After Dark without the whatever into the chat, and it should be able to. Now, of course, if Ashton and I are not going to be doing this, so we'll see what happens here. But if you do Wolves After Dark, this is for a jersey to be. Oh, Ashton's gone. But this is for a jersey of your choice, Timberwolves jersey. By jersey of your choice, I mean, there's going to be a couple options. You know, it's kind of like the standard jerseys that they have now. I think they're sold out of the new, like, city version or whatever it's called. So this will be one of the standard ones, like the blue or the white or something like that. I'll give you some options. You will need to DM us somehow, whether that's on Twitter or someplace else or on Discord. But we'll need to get a hold of you pretty much right away. So if you're here typing Wolves After Dark, we've got the people in here. We're going to give it a couple more minutes maybe here just to let everybody get a chance. Because I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. We've already got a bunch of submissions already.
Can we just shout out the fact that Andrew Wiggins, Malik Beasley, Taurean Prince, D'Angelo Russell are all starting on other teams?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Tyus
That
Jones.
is crazy. Oh, man.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Josh Okogie.
Yeah, Josh Okogie, too. Just got fined.
You got fined?
Yeah, for flopping.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm going to try this once. And if this doesn't work, I just want to see. So get your comments in if you haven't already. I've seen them all. Luckily, we don't have that big of a stream right now. So if this doesn't work, I can just do a random number generator, and then I'll just choose one through however many there are. So going to try this because right now it's not looking how I'd hope it to look. So let me try it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. We're going to have to do the random number generator. So let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoops. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of us entered for the jersey. Okay. Random number generator. This is your last chance. If you haven't entered, enter now. If you see your name in the comments, you're good. I've got Nathan, Gerald, Godfrey, Slappy, Carson, Alejandro, Austin, Begus, BX Rep. Got everybody.
Marlene.
Oh, yeah, Marlene. Thank you. I do have Marlene. Okay. Going to give you 10 seconds.
Matt Ryan, team high +20 for the Pelicans tonight.
Oh my gosh, what the heck? He signed literally yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, roll happening. Just do number generator. Oh my goodness. Yes,
That's a
drum roll.
roll.
That's what we need right now. Is we need a drum roll. Okay. And oop, that didn't work. Bear with me. This is the hardest thing ever, apparently.
We even rehearsed this several times.
We did rehearse this several times.
We'll give it up to Cameron for doing this. Yeah, it's so nice.
I don't know why it's so difficult right now. It's not even letting me do a number generator. This is so stupid.
You're choking.
I'm going online. I'm going on Google now and just doing one. Okay. We've got somebody selected.
Oh, we got T. Kubler who got in right before.
Oh, okay. We've got one more then. One more.
You can't do that to us, dude.
Okay, now no more submissions. Oh, I should take it off the screen. That'll help people stop. Okay, now we're doing it. 11 people now instead of 10.
Oh man.
The stress. Okay, we've got a winner, and our winner is Slappy. Slappy wins the jersey giveaway.
Congrats,
So, Slappy. I can't remember. Did you say you had joined the Discord? If you have, DM me on not Instagram. What am I saying? DM me in someplace because I don't have a way to contact you, I don't think. Okay, so you joined. Let me make sure I've got you in the Discord here. We will be doing more of these giveaways as the season goes on. So if you didn't win tonight, no worries. It will happen, but we will get it. I have perfect. I've got your DM. We're good. Congratulations.
And we're good. Even though we lost. Good.
We did lose. Timberwolves lose. Back again. It's Saturday, right? Is the game?
Yeah. A-Rod's got our backs, man. No worries.
A-Rod's got us. But yes. Looking forward. I'm hoping to put out some maybe like a betting YouTube video of like props that I would maybe do before the game for prize picks or something like that. We'll see. All the off-season content's got me a little tired, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But yes, Target Center better be loud. Also, keep an eye out for tickets. I think they just put out like $15 tickets for Ant 603 or something random like that. I got an email during the game. So check that out. We'll keep an eye out for, I don't think we hit 12 threes tonight. So I don't think we got Arby's, but Arby's is back. It's in the app. It's kind of in a weird spot. Yeah, we only got 8. And it's so hopeful. It says we've got 4 more to go. Yeah, the game's over. So, but yes, that is how the game ends. Ashwin, did you have any final comments before we head on to Saturday?
No, it's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
And, can't wait to see the game on Saturday and maybe a different outcome.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Knows? The home crowd, being home will be good. I think I expect to win here. I think when we were doing the preseason, like picking all the games, I think I actually did choose Toronto as a loss. But I did choose Miami as a win. So I'm 1 for 1. And I bet on Toronto to win this game. So I'm up $20.
Wow.
Don't bet, kid. Don't bet, kids.
And don't bet on kids.
Don't bet on kids either. Cool.
Alrighty.
Anyways, it was great to see you all. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching the video afterwards, leave a comment. Tell us what you want the next giveaway to be. You know, maybe it can't be a jersey every time. Do you want it to be Jake Scraps? Do you want it to be something else? Hats, something? Again, this isn't going to be a nightly thing, but you know, we'll figure it out as it goes. But it's great to see everybody. We'll be back here on Saturday, same place, same time, I think, or similar. Yeah, intro as the outro. 52 wins is still possible, and what we both predicted. Spoiler. But we will see you Saturday night.
See ya.